Hello and welcome to this month's episode of Skul Bilong Yu. I'm Yvonne Kambibel, your new host. This month, we bring you recent events that have taken place in the education sector. Let's start by taking a look at three major projects launched by the Papua New Guinea Education Institute.
The Papua New Guinea Education Institute has launched three major projects this month in Port Moresby. These projects include the Language Support Program course, materials and videos, a new e-library and a postgraduate study facility. PNGEI Director Zui Niofa says PNGEI is happy to work in partnership with the Education Department to make its online learning visions a reality. Zui says although it's a long process to fully equip classrooms with the necessary learning and teaching materials, the availability of quality materials is a privilege. These will now motivate efficient teaching and learning in schools.
Putting together materials and implement in the classroom is a tedious process. But one thing for sure that we can be very proud of is having quality materials accessible and having quality materials available. That is one thing that can make teaching and learning more effective and be able to make students have easy access to learning and make the comfort of learning much easier. PNG Education Institute is also very happy to partner with Education Department to roll out its vision of or online learning and to be able to come up with the online library that is about to be launched in the next few minutes. We are going to accompany the Secretary to one of the model e-learning facilities that has been put up by Sanwong International for the Secretary to be able to launch so that, if impressed, can be rolled out to secondary schools, primary schools and other levels of schools as already mentioned by the Secretary. We are very proud again to be able to be the recipients of this significant donation.
Zui emphasized that the introduction of e-learning in the Institute is a model for teachers' colleges nationwide if they wish to adapt this model in the near future. The launch facilitator, Michael Foster, is the brainchild of the Language Support Program. He outlines the program's benefits. Michael says that materials have been written to suit Papua New Guinea's history and culture. He adds that the great teamwork between PNG lecturers and volunteers from the organisation Voluntary Service Overseas has resulted in the Language Support Program's achievements.
We have a fantastic set of course materials written by the lecturers and supported by VSO volunteers, and we have a more confident and capable group of lecturers who are happy to work together, and these two things make this a very sustainable LSP success story. But sustainability is only one part of the methodology that has been so successful. It's truly participatory. The volunteers that are embedded in the teachers' colleges are there long-term and build up a fantastic trust relationship with the Strand, and through that trust relationship there has been a two-way exchange of skills and knowledge, and that's been a fantastic part of what LSP has managed to achieve.
One very important factor that was stressed during the event was the ability to speak, read, write and understand the English language. Secretary for Education Dr. Michael Tapo says it is vital that teachers and students are able to understand the English language as well as speak it. Dr. Tapo says language has the power to enhance communication in many different ways, and it is vital to education. He says the e-learning model approved by the government will now benefit educational institutions in and around the country. Dr. Tapo strongly advised users of the online facilities to fully utilize them for effectiveness. He also stressed that in order to have highly qualified teachers in PNG schools, teachers should be well trained in teachers' colleges so they can perform well in their specialized subjects. Moreover, Dr. Tapo emphasized the role the media can play in raising greater awareness of the issues surrounding education in PNG.
Welcome back to Skul Bilong Yu. Innovative communication technologies are playing an essential role in learning. Here we show you the development of EMTV in Papua New Guinea schools.
One or two sensitive issues that we need to.
The fifth Joint Coordination Committee meeting of the EMTV project this month saw attendees by the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA, National and NCD Education Department officials and national planning representatives. The discussion focused on the current progress of the project so far in the country. Acting Deputy Secretary for Education, Teaching and Standards, Dr. Eliakam Apelis, said that the EMTV program has gained momentum since its inception 10 years ago with the help of JICA. He says that the program has contributed to better academic results of students in PNG, especially primary school students. Dr. Apelis said that the project is aiming to improve the quality of classroom teaching and learning through the TV program aired by EMTV and is also strengthening the system for disseminating the program in primary schools. Dr. Apelis said that the EMTV program is part of the National Media Policy and Universal Basic Education Strategy with an emphasis on teaching and learning, particularly in rural areas. In order for compulsory education to reach the whole country, he said, EMTV program is the way forward.
The whole question of ownership is crucial for us at all levels, the school level, provincial level, regional level, national level, if we are going to compete with the rest of the world in terms of quality. We are already there with various government policies. EMTV is the way forward for e-learning, for example. EMTV is the way forward for compulsory education. Compulsory education is not necessarily getting children into the classroom. We can use EMTV to educate children in their own homes, for example. That is formal education. That is informal education. And either way, we can go also for non-formal education. Now we are implementing the third year of the project. We need to have an impact study. We need to have an impact, a research impact study on the whole project. How do we do that? We have these few months to work on. So I will ask for expertise to look at the whole project, not necessarily the impact it has in the children, but also on teachers and the communities from a broader perspective. How does EMTV, with the provision of TV sets, etc. and so forth, has had an impact in community, relationships with the school, relationships amongst themselves, the youth and so forth, how it impacts on standards in terms of quality, how it impacts on access, equity, all aspects in which we intend the project to be measured tangibly, meaning that we must have concrete evidence to show that the project has impacted on some of those government policies.
Shigeru Sugiyama, the JICA chief representative in PNG, said in his opening remarks of the meeting that the project's challenge this year is to improve the capacity of trainers and teachers who are involved with the EMTV project. Mr. Sugiyama said that he is hopeful that the situation improves as the EMTV team progresses in conducting training courses which is scheduled for this year and next year onwards.
It is my honor to be take part in today's JCC. As we all know, EMTV is gaining momentum, and it is our obligation to upkeep this momentum, even vital. When it comes to EMTV, we have seen various developments this year so far, and completion of basic level training, production of new promotional video, and so on. So we should also not forget that the West New Britain governor committed to spend or committed to allocate 1.5 million kina for the dissemination of EMTV program within his province. I also heard that the provincial governor, the province of Bougainville is going to invest some extent in order to disseminate the EMTV program in his province. All this could have a potential positive impact to other provinces where governors are interested in disseminating the EMTV program in a similar fashion.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the EMTV project report.
EMTV project leader Akinori Ito said that the EMTV team has conducted teacher training in 10 provinces of the country already this year. Mr. Ito said that the EMTV program Phase 2 began in 2012 and will end by 2015.
EMTV Phase 2 project has started since May 2012. So this year, now already 3 years finished now. So last year December, we conducted number 4th JCC meeting. This time we presented the progress of the report like today, but this time we can't provide a good progress because a training we conducted provincial level, but after that province didn't conduct district and the cluster level because of financial difficulties or some reason. But this time we provide a very good report because we conducted 10 provinces in a training, and almost 8 provinces conducted district level and the cluster levels. So almost we have a good record of the training, such as like we have 271 provincial trainers, and also many schools are receiving training, such as 1,122 schools are receiving training. So this is good. And the school need material to EMTV resource material. Now department almost 70% schools material has distributed since July. So training done and resource material to distributed. Okay, this is good. And the next, okay, equipment, because school must access EMTV program. In this case, all school need equipment. So this is very crucial because Department of Education this year we didn't have enough money funds for equipment. However, some provinces, governor, and support now, such as like ARB, member Mr. Jolera, he said 200,000 he will provide for equipment. And the governor for West New Britain province 1.5 million for EMTV. So I reported this now meeting today. So this progress. So this year department has finance problem. However, activities is good, and the province ownership the increase. So hopefully next year we are going to more awareness. This year from now we conduct more awareness to approach to governor, provincial government or members, and ask to support to equity program, because this equity program is support quality teaching and learning. School gives me quick TV or beginning by study good, learning good, no classroom. The teacher to teach it good, and also improving school environment. So I believe EQTV is very good. Actually, we have a good statistics report for monitoring report for good result for EQTV schools. So we are very happy to today's meeting, and also national planning join us, and they give us some advice for next year. So I think next year we can still provide better report, because next year, last year, so we have to achieve our goals and our project.
Mr. Ito further highlighted the project's progress since the beginning of this year, enhancing the EQTV program's access and capacity. The points he highlighted included that a steering committee has been set up to discuss the issues and provide direction for the project's implementation. Furthermore, the capacity of national trainers has been improved to carry out their tasks. Ownerships of provinces have been improved as well. Mr. Ito said MP's support of EQTV has been better this year than in 2013, and district and cluster training have been implemented by provincial efforts. Mr. Ito also stated that some of the issues for EQTV project in 2014 include funding constraints, delay of activities in provinces, and a shortage of manpower and equipment at school level. However, he said that they are looking into these issues and have come up with strategies to overcome them with time.
So our equity phase 2 is using a regional-based approach of dissemination of equity program, because department wants dissemination all same time, but actually must try to develop some region-based resource province and try to disseminate all the nations. So we have our target province and the region is NGI, Momase, NCD, Central and the West Highland Province. So total 12 provinces are our target. And after that, this capacity by expanding to all provinces.
Titus Hatagen, the Education Department's first Assistant Secretary for Curriculum and Education Standards, said that the EQTV program will now include 2 new subjects to be shown alongside mathematics and science.
With the introduction of the other subjects, standard and guidance have already put their hands up. We've discussed it, especially guidance, with a lot of behavioral problems that we're having with our students. They are now planning to have some videos being made in consultation with NEMC. So we'll come. I will advise you further on that one, but we have discussed it already. That's number one. Number two, with funding, it's very critical, especially in provinces. Some provinces are being positive, and they see the value of EQTV. But I think somehow from the department, with the monies that's given to the province of function grants, there is a lot of problem with PSIP, DSIP, LNGSIP. Some parliamentarians or politicians know where to give that money to and so forth, especially the percentage allocated. But if PEAs can also negotiate with the functional grants, NEFC embarks on the use of functional grants in minimum priority activities, and to assist with EQTV to purchase equipment falls in one of the categories, the MPAs, of with the provisions of materials to school. So something that we need to, from the department, to go down to the provinces and especially to the PEAs, that the money is parked in there for the allocation for the yearly appropriation.
Hello again. The National Literacy Week is one way of educating people about the importance of literacy in the country. This year, the celebration took place at Malalawa in the Gulf Province.
Educate the girl and educate our family.
The 19th National Literacy Week was hosted by Gulf Province this year and was officially opened at Malalawa Station, a few kilometers outside Kerama town.
With the Department of Education and Gulf Provincial Government, we now officially launched the National Literature Week.
The theme of this year's celebration is Literacy, the Key to Your World.
Like I said, nobody's going to miss out.
Speaking at the occasion, the Director of National Literacy Awareness Secretariat, Wooly John Duo, said that literacy is the way forward for the people and for the country to fully develop. Mr. John Duo said that, according to statistics, some provinces in the country have very high illiteracy rates, and that celebrating Literacy Week will raise awareness amongst people of its importance.
Emi week belong you plan, long look sabi long level belong literacy written right long province, work hard long and by come up.
Research from 10 years ago shows where the Gulf Province stands with regards to literacy. Statistics from this research shows that out of the total population in Gulf, only some of them have gone to school.
Hopefully in the next...
Provincial Administrator for Gulf Province, Mark Avai, says that achievement is the result of commitment and dedication. He says plans to establish the first tertiary institution in the province are on the way. He says their provincial government is working with the national government to improve the standard of education in the province.
We want to train all our children in the province before the Gulf LNG projects get off the ground. That's the vision. Our Director of Education have made a mention already. We have improved our minimum rating index from 26 in 2000 to 45.7 in 2013. That's a big achievement that has been made in the school. So thank you, teachers, for doing your best. Although under trying conditions, you have done your best to teach our children.
Havala Kavo, the Governor for Gulf, says literacy is important, and he also talked a lot about the importance of reading during his speech at the event. He strongly encouraged students to read a lot as reading develops proper understanding. When reading doesn't take place, there is a lack of knowledge and information, and that will not help people to move forward in life. He didn't only ask students, but everyone to take time to read.
We have sponsored almost about 300,000 for teachers in Gallium Teachers College and other colleges. So far, we have produced 50 students since 2012, and we got another 50 more to come out by this year and next year to take up the vacant positions in Gulf Province. This is a priority of the government. Government of Gulf Province is concerned about the education of our children. When our children are well taught and well instructed, they're able to compete with the rest of Papua New Guinea.
The Acting Secretary for Education, Dr. Eliakim Apelis, says literacy has the capacity to promote self-reliance and also influence on all forms of development. Dr. Apelis says that compared to other Pacific Island nations, the level of literacy in PNG is low. He says the effort and commitment that the National Literacy Awareness Secretariat has put into celebrating National Literacy Week each year is very much appreciated. During his speech at the event, he also stressed the importance of reading. He says if people can have the ability to understand the information they receive, either through listening or reading, they can become productive citizens of this nation.
I also acknowledge the great effort and the commitment of the Director and the staff of the National Literacy and Awareness Secretariat, who have committed themselves and have ensured that this important event is conducted annually, and this is the 19th
Literacy Week for PNG. It is also a joint efforts and commitments that will help many of our people to become literate. Education is everybody's business. Therefore, literacy is everybody's business.
You're with Skul Bilong Yu. We now take you to the NCD Education Division. So far, they have supplied schools in Port Moresby with material kits. Have a look.
The national government's tuition fee free commodity component was launched for the nation's capital on the 2nd of September by the Education Department and NCD Governor Powers Pakop. The component, which is part of the TFF policy rollout by the government, consists of school material kits for school children to use, starting from elementary to secondary education. The component was launched at Ted Dero Primary School in Port Moresby in the presence of Education Minister Nick Kuman, Education Secretary Michael Tapo, Waseragau MP Joseph Yopi and all participating NCD secondary school principals, primary school head teachers, elementary teachers in charge and NCD education officials. The rollout will see that the school kits will be distributed to all elementary and secondary schools in NCD. So far, the Education Department with Trade Pacific has distributed the school kits to many provinces in the country, since the rollout began in early August this year at Abao District. Trade Pacific have been awarded the contract of supplying the school materials, which include student workbooks, pencils, textbooks, rulers and also Bibles. The government has allocated 40 million kina to all schools in the country.
Tuition fee free education. This massive funding has enabled as many of our children as possible to go to school. Now all our schools are full and we are happy. Of course, there are more challenges in creating space, but we can only solve one problem at a time. And the first problem is to get all our children to school. Our government for a long time has been talking about universal, at least primary education. But we have not been able to deliver on it until the O'Neill government came in 2011 and now in 2012. That's when we came up with a tuition fee free education to pay for all the tuition and subsidiary stationary expenses so that all our children of school age can go to school. And I'm happy that in our school now, in our city, we are providing and enabling all our children to come to school. But it remains a big challenge. And one of the challenges now we are trying to resolve it is to make sure that all the children have access to the basic of stationery. And this is now going to be delivered today.
Governor Pakop, while thanking the efforts of the NCD Education Division, stated that with full pledge to Tokarara Secondary and Koyari Park Adventist Secondary School, these schools can now cater for the increasing number of students from primary schools in the city.
Minister and everyone, I could not end my speech without making a bit of comments again about the challenges facing our schools. Of course, Minister, you've heard me before, and I don't want to bore you with, my views about the schools in our city, but I want to just repeat again that increasingly there must be a decision made about whether education remain parked in the National Department of Education or you should decentralize it to the city. I want to remind you all, and I want to assure you all that we are ready in the city. Whether it comes to NCDC or we set up another body, but it must come down so we can take ownership, we can drive it, so we can lift the standard of education in our city in all space. So, Minister, please be assured we are ready, willing, and able. Our NCD Education Division can come down and be part of that authority or whatever instrument that you so decide. But we must be like the provinces so we can drive it. More importantly, a minister and all our children, my priority now in working with the national government to deliver quality education, universal education to our children in our city. There are two main priorities that I'm focusing on. One is to create more space in the secondary school. Minister, as you know, everybody knows, the teacher knows, we have about 43 elementary school, 42 primary school, but in terms of government secondary school, only about 8 or 9. If it was not for the Catholic Church, we will have big problems here in the city. But the Catholic Church, very good partner in education, giving us elementary, primary, and importantly, secondary education. We have De La Salle, which is not too much controlled by Catholic Church nowadays. I wish it could go back to the Catholic Church. Marinville, we have Jubilee, we have Caritas, we have all Youth Development Center, and DBTI and DBTS, Don Bosco School. There's about 7 of them, secondary school. If they were not there in our city, we will face massive problems.
The rollout of IT services in all schools was launched at Bora Primary School recently this year and will be delivered to all elementary and secondary schools in NCD soon. Education Minister Nick Kuman was also present during the launch and said that the TFF policy, since being introduced by the national government in 2012, has already benefited students and parents in Papua New Guinea, and that the first beneficiaries of the policy will complete grade 3 this year.
Governor, you know, as much as the government of O'Neill Dion want to see an educated Papua New Guineans, we thank you for the leadership that you provide in the nation's capital, the biggest capital city of Papua New Guinea. I know you have done and invested a lot in the education sector, and our TFF program right throughout the country obviously did not miss Port Moresby. The school in all the schools in Port Moresby from elementary all the way to grade 12 have benefited, and one of which we are now trying to launch in Port Moresby as part of the 24 provinces that we have so far rolled out.
Minister Kuman added that so far the commodity component has been rolled out in 24 provinces in the country. Minister Kuman emphasized the national government's stance and commitment in ensuring that all children in PNG attend school and that education is one of the highest priorities of the current government.
Here, but the policy on free tuition fee throughout the country. The government's intention of providing tuition free is not a daycare service to parents in the cities and in the rural parts of Papua New Guinea. It is to educate every Papua New Guinean as we endeavor to birth the future leaders of this nation. That is why the government invested heavily in the education sector. We want to ensure that every child born in this country must go through the basic education in Papua New Guinea. And I want to thank every teacher and the parents and the board of management right throughout Papua New Guinea who have helped in ensuring that our TFF policy goes right throughout the country and benefit every child that is entering the school system since 2012. And today you see the testament of the O'Neill Dion government commitment in ensuring that TFF must work. And you see our partner in the commodity component, Trans Pacific, have delivered
the first lot of batches that since we launched the commodity component in about more than a month ago, and NCD schools will benefit today. Whilst echoing the policy of the government, I want to also point out to not only the schools but the school of the Board of Management and the principals and the headmasters who are the custodian of those TFF. That TFF is intended to educate Papua New Guinean students. Every child that enters the school system, every child is accounted from the elementary all the way to grade 12. We want to make sure that you account, and you must make sure resources are available. You must make sure the teachers' resources must be available, the students' resources must be available. We cannot continuously support the commodity component, but we want to ensure that the TFF must work. The banks, BSP, Westpac, ANZ, the government is partnering through ensuring that the TFF must go to all the school accounts in Papua New Guinea. I want to sound a warning. Those schools have performed well below par in managing the TFF. You will know that the schools, TFF will not enter into your accounts on time for the students to benefit. We now install a more stricter control on the TFF disbursement, one of which is that the district treasurers and the district administrators in every 89 districts in Papua New Guinea will be a compulsory signatory to every bank account each school operates. And that is apart from the headmaster, the Board of Management, the principals of high schools and secondary schools. We also want to ensure that the provincial administrator and the provincial treasurer must be signatories to the school accounts in high schools, secondary schools, vocational schools. Since 2012, 2013, when the government rolled out the TFF program, we realized that there's a lot more problem in the management of the TFF in the schools. Governor, I want to assure you that the school in NCD, I think apart from one or two, are doing very well in the management of TFF. On top of that, we want to see by 2015, Governor, you know your schools will see the first recipient of the 2012 TFF program will enter into grade 3 next year. All your schools in NCD will have a lot more students than before. We'll have a lot of problem with capacity. That is the reason why government deliberately decided that in 2013 and 14, they packed almost 1.5 billion each year, and by end of this year, there will be 3 billion kina roll out to all the districts in Papua New Guinea. The main reason, Governor, is this: 20% of that money, DSIP and PSIP, must be packed for education program, to build more classrooms, to build more teachers' houses, to ensure that there's the resources for the teachers and the students must be available. What we are providing today is one component just to support, but the main part of that should now be the responsibility of the open members of parliament and the provincial governors of each province right throughout the country.
Furthermore, Minister Kuman said that schools that are performing below par will not be issued their school kits until they get their accounts and balances of monies in order. He said that from this year onwards, district treasurers and administrators are signatories in the school operating accounts as a way of being more strictly in control of the use of school funds and ensuring accountability.
Governor, I want to encourage you and your 3 members of parliament that you have to partner with the Department of Education. You have to partner with the national government. You have to ensure that a lot more facilities must be built to cater for the growing population that you are absorbing in the city of Port Moresby. You know as much as every politician knows that education does not stop in Port Moresby. We have to go to the rural parts of Papua New Guinea, starting from Karamui, Telefomin, Kaintiba, Menyama. All these places have not been to Port Moresby, for instance. They have not seen Papua New Guinea. Our education system, the government's policy must go to those districts. We have to roll out those infrastructures in Telefomin, in Karamui, in Kaintiba. They are part of Papua New Guinea. And NCD is part of Papua New Guinea also. Ley is part of Papua New Guinea. Mount Hagen, Brabau, Medan, and every haven centers in this country. Government is not going into the business of relieving parents who are working people in the city. Government is not going to the business of relieving parents in the rural areas of Papua New Guinea by giving school fees for all the kids going to school. For the kids, in order for the kids to attain minimum education in Papua New Guinea, the government is deliberately putting in place policies that is to support the education system so that we can get quality outcome of education in the country. And of course, I take my hat off to you, Governor. ICT is one of those. We want to ensure that every school in this country must have access but affordable internet system. The government will roll out the ICT program next year. Starting from the high schools to secondary school. We want to see all the technical colleges. We want to see all the vocational schools will have access to internet. Substantial investment will be put to that sector as of next year. And that will complement what you're doing in the city. And we want to make sure that we want to provide something that will be more affordable. I know every child has got a smartphone on their hands. I know every child will have access to tablets and laptops. Those who have access to that, obviously they can download very cheaply. Will download Google and search for the subjects of their research. And this will become available, and the government is committed to make sure that we will provide Wi-Fi system right throughout the 89 districts in Papua New Guinea.
Acting Assistant Secretary for NCD Education Division, Coretta Nag, told the teachers and students that the commodity component aspect of the TFF policy would enable compulsory and quality education. Ms. Naik said that the NCD Education Division was now challenged to ensure that the students in NCD schools benefit accordingly from the rollout.
Approximately 2,600 teachers we have. Approximately 80,000 students we have in NCD.
Education Secretary Dr. Michael Tapo said that the school materials given should be accounted for accordingly and that this is to ensure that all students benefit. Education Secretary Dr. Michael Tapo urged schools in NCD to look after their share of the commodity component, as these materials will help them in their learning.
Before we end our program, we at EMTV would like to wish all the grades 10 and 12 students around Papua New Guinea all the best in the upcoming national examinations. And that's all we have for this month's episode of Skul Bilong Yu. If you wish to view this program once more, you can visit our website www.emtv.com.pg. You're welcome to contact us with any news and information about your school for your next Skul Bilong Yu episode. Until then, thank you for watching and we'll see you again next month. Take care.